wealth was distributed in the United States. This is what they said they thought it was. Dividing the country into 5 rough groups of the top, bottom, and middle 3 20% groups, they asked people how they thought the wealth in this country was divided. Then he asked them what they thought was the ideal distribution. And 92%, that's at least 9 out of 10 of them, said it should be more like this. In other words, more equitable than they think it is. Now that fact is telling, admittedly, the notion that most Americans know that the system is already skewed unfairly. But what's most interesting to me is the reality compared to our perception. The ideal is as far removed from our perception of reality as the actual distribution is from what we think exists in this country. So ignore the ideal for a moment. Here's what we think it is again. And here is the actual distribution. Shockingly skewed. Not only do the bottom 20% and the next 20%, the bottom 40% of Americans barely have any of the wealth. I mean, it's hard to even see them on the chart. But the top 1% has more of the country's wealth than 9 out of 10 Americans believe the entire top 20% should have. Mind-blowing. But let's look at it another way, because I find this chart kind of difficult to wrap my head around. Instead, let's reduce the 311 million Americans to just a representative 100 people. Make it simple. Here they are: teachers, coaches, firefighters, construction workers, engineers, doctors, lawyers, some investment bankers, a CEO, maybe a celebrity or two. Now let's line them up according to their wealth. Poorest people on the left, wealthiest on the right, just a steady row of folks based on their net worth. We'll color code them like we did before based on which 20% quintile they fall into. Now let's reduce the total wealth of the United States, which was roughly $54 trillion in 2009, to this symbolic pile of cash. And let's distribute it among our 100 Americans. Well, here's socialism, all the wealth of the country distributed equally. We all know that won't work. We need to encourage people to work and work hard to achieve that good old American dream and keep our country moving forward. So, here's that ideal we asked everyone about. Something like this curve. This isn't too bad. We've got some incentive, as the wealthiest folks are now about 10 to 20 times better off than the poorest Americans. But hey, even the poor folks aren't actually poor, since the poverty line has stayed almost entirely off the chart. We have a super healthy middle class with a smooth transition into wealth. And yes, Republicans and Democrats alike chose this curve. 9 out of 10 people, 92%, said this was a nice, ideal distribution of America's wealth. But let's move on. This is what people think America's wealth distribution actually looks like. Not as equitable, clearly, but for me, even this still looks pretty great. Yes, the poorest 20 to 30% are starting to suffer quite a lot compared to the ideal, and the middle class is certainly struggling more than they were, while the rich and wealthy are making roughly 100 times that of the poorest Americans, and about 10 times that of the still healthy middle class. Sadly, this isn't even close to the reality. Here is the actual distribution of wealth in America. The poorest Americans don't even register. They're down to pocket change. And the middle class is barely distinguishable from the poor. In fact, even the rich between the top 10 and 20 percentile are worse off. Only the top 10% are better off. And how much better off? So much better off that the top 2 to 5% are actually off the chart at this scale. And the top 1%, this guy, well, his stack of money stretches 10 times higher than we can show. Here's his stack of cash, restacked, all by itself. This is the top 1% we've been hearing so much about. So much green in his pockets that I have to give him a whole new column of his own, because he won't fit on my chart. 1% of America has 40% of all the nation's wealth. The bottom 80%, 8 out of every 10 people, or 80 out of these 100, only has 7% between them. And this has only gotten worse in the last 20 to 30 years. While the richest 1% take home almost a quarter of the national income today, in 1976, they took home only 9%. meaning their share of income has nearly tripled in the last 30 years. The top 1% own half the country's stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The bottom 50% of Americans own only 0.5% of these investments, which means they aren't investing. They're just scraping by. I'm sure many of these wealthy people have worked very hard for their money. But do you really believe that the CEO is working 380 times harder than his average employee? Not his lowest paid employee, not the janitor, but the average earner in his company. The average worker needs to work more than a month to earn what the CEO makes in 1 hour. We certainly don't have to go all the way to socialism to find something that is fair for hardworking Americans. We don't even have to achieve what most of us consider might be ideal. All we need to do is wake up and realize that the reality in this country is not at all what we think it is.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome. This is Brandon Ivey from Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is our Saturday night cryptocurrency education presentation, semi-training, but it's going to get you guys in the game. Now, some of you have seen that video before. If you guys got here on time, and just so you guys know, anytime I do a webinar presentation, I start playing videos 15 minutes before the presentation starts. So if you ever want to come in a little bit early and see some cool videos, you're always welcome to do so. But that video is shocking. 1% of America's population controls 40% of the nation's wealth. 1% of America's population controls more than 50% of all stocks and bonds. Only 0.5% is the rest of America. That is shocking. It is also a reminder of why I say, and it's not just me, that cryptocurrency is the greatest economic shift of wealth in the history of the world. It's allowing the average person, no matter what country you're from, to be able to rewrite their place in the world, rewrite your financial destination. Because the top 1% has not taken advantage of this yet. They will. They will, because money is shifting. And you better believe that they want to protect the money that they already have, and they're going to shift to where the new money is being generated. But we have an opportunity to get a piece of the pie as well. So today, we did a very detailed training last night, and I'm not going to rehash that training. It was recorded. So I want to give you guys some basic information here. And we will cover the importance of getting educated, opening up your first Bitcoin wallet, and being able to start making money in this industry 24 hours from getting started. So what is cryptocurrency? Well, it's a type of exchange that uses encryption to secure transactions and control the creation of new currency units. Crypto coins are a subset of digital coins. Bitcoin was created in 2008, open source in 2009, and became the first decentralized crypto coin. It's technology. Now, when we talk about we're going to get you plugged in on the technology side, see, we understand that education is the key. It's not being taught in school. And we're in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution with the greatest technology to be invented since the internet, and it's not being taught in school. Only a handful of universities are starting some courses, and they're seen as fringe courses. Elementary schools in Australia are now starting to teach blockchain, and I was always taught that we live in a world now where we're sending our children to college to prepare for a world that will not exist by the time they graduate. That is, there's been no other time that that's been so true than right now. My son is going to be a freshman in college in a few weeks, and his college does not even have a blockchain or cryptocurrency course. Yet by the time he graduates, which will be 2021, the world will be run and dominated by blockchain technology. There's going to be industries that's going to come up that we haven't even thought of yet because of this. So to get educated, and you don't have thousands of dollars to go back to school, we've got a program for you that's structured. I'm going to teach you about cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies are one of the most misunderstood and underacknowledged products on the planet because a very small percentage of people understand how they work and what they do. So many are missing out on what is becoming a very powerful tool for the ones who are taking advantage. Our goal at iCoinPro is simple. We want to educate you on what cryptocurrencies are, how they work, and how you can take advantage of them. You know, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have been around for almost 10 years, and most people still have no idea what they are, how they work, or their purpose. The most interesting thing is that in this day and age of technology and news spreading so quickly around the world, that something so powerful and potentially life-changing can go unrecognized for so long. In other words, an actual online currency that is allowing people to send money to friends, family, and business contacts worldwide from their cell phones without needing a bank and without needing permission from any agency, that is making life and business significantly easier for so many people around the globe. And what's shocking about this, for me personally, is I first really learned about cryptocurrency in 2013. 2013, 4 years ago. I first mentioned it on social media August 1st, 2014. Literally 3 years ago this month. And I said I wanted to give a special shout out to Tracy Consoli, one of our newest rising stars in Japan. She is putting on the first ever event in Tokyo, Japan. Tracy is the owner of the famous Pink Cow restaurant, which was the first ever in the city to have a Bitcoin ATM machine. The first ever. Did I buy any Bitcoin back then? Did I invest anything? No. Had I done so, today I'd be considered one of those Bitcoin millionaires. Today. But that's in hindsight. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. So it's not too late. In fact, we're in the sweet spot zone right now to get involved in this industry. And it's going to be too late for most people, and here's why. Because they're going to wake up, and everywhere they go, they're going to see a Bitcoin ATM machine all over the place. And they're going to say, what happened? You're going to wake up one day, go to work, and your boss is going to say, we now are having as an option Bitcoin payments. If you're in a network marketing company, your CEO is going to come in and say, we're now accepting Bitcoin and we're paying out commissions in Bitcoin only. As a CEO of a network marketing company, that's the smartest thing that they can do. It's going to save them so much money and headache and solve all of the corporate problems and allow all of their members to get paid instantly. Instantly, not wait 2 weeks to get paid. Instantly. Here's a picture of Tim Miller, who for a year and a half was a critic of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, not of the technology. He was a critic of network marketing companies that were popping up trying to build in the name of cryptocurrencies, and a lot of them have been shut down since then. But I want to read something to you. You know that old saying, numbers don't lie? Because I'm sure you've been familiar with Bitcoin, and right now Bitcoin is worth over $4,000 a coin. One point in June, it was only worth $1,800. Last year, when I first made a Bitcoin, how to set up a Bitcoin account video, Bitcoin was worth about $700 per coin. I owned more than that in Bitcoin at the time, and I sold it because I wanted to use that money to go get Christmas presents in December of 2016. That was a very, very expensive Christmas now, when I look back on it. I got rid of my Bitcoins. I'm like, what? What that's worth today? That's over $8,000 today. That's going to haunt me later on. Because each Bitcoin, according to this mathematician, I want to show you something. Numbers don't lie. There's only a finite amount of Bitcoin ever in existence. 21 million that there ever will be. And it's the law of supply and demand. Why does Bitcoin value rise? Same reason why gold value would rise. Because there's more of a demand for it, and there's a limited supply. The reason why the US dollar will never rise in value is because the government just keeps printing more dollars. So it will always decrease in value every day. It's economically foolhardy to be keeping your money in the bank as a savings mechanism. Most wealthy people don't have their money in banks. How many stories have you heard of people that are like 50 million, $100 million worth, but only have maybe $500,000 in cash? Where's their money? They've got it invested. That's how they store up and save their wealth, not sitting in a bank account. But according to these numbers, this is going to shock you. Without making any further assumptions, the $1 million Bitcoin will arrive on or around August 13th, 2020. Did you hear that right? The $1 million Bitcoin. Given current evidence, the end of year value of Bitcoin this year is going forward, and going forward, a further 5 years will be. By the end of 2016, almost $7,000 per coin. By the end of 2018, almost $46,000 per coin. Compound interest. 2019, 307,000. 2020, 2 million. 2021, 13.7 million. 2022, 91.6 million per coin. This is all based on mathematics, not somebody's personal opinion, not somebody's emotions, not somebody what they believe is going to be. It also shows that in 5 years' time, if nothing is done, then we can expect Bitcoin to be more important than any other payment mechanism on the planet. By the end of 2022, there will be over 19 million Bitcoins in the money supply, with a potential market cap approaching $200 trillion. You understand how they got that number? This is based on mathematics. If you look at the current standings, Bitcoin market cap is at 76 billion right now. Total market cap is 140 billion. They're projecting it to be worth 200 trillion. So when you put the same numbers back to back to each other, 91 million per coin if there's only 19 million coins in circulation. So if you think that the Bitcoin is too expensive right now, you're going to wait 5 years from now and wish it was only worth $4,000 per coin and say, I wish I would go back in time and I would sell my house and my car. Now, I'm not telling anybody to do that right now. I'm not saying you better go into debt, get all the loans you can to get as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. Because you never know what may happen. It might turn around and not happen, or another coin come in place, like Ethereum that takes over. Bitcoin is like MySpace. Remember MySpace? When was the last time you ever logged into your MySpace account? However, Ethereum is Facebook at the beginning. And you watch how that grows. It's growing faster than Bitcoin. Let's look at the history of Bitcoin. The price of one token in 2009 was worth 0.0001 cents. 2010, 7 cents. 2011, $15. 2012, $7. 2013, $100. 2014, $600. 2015, $220. 2016, $750. 2017, $3,451. In fact, this trend, and it's more than that right now, this trend is following what Harvard University says is Moore's Law, a mathematical equation that Bitcoin is doubling every 18 months. So John Hall says, who determines how many coins of each type are mined? That's a great question. Well, if you go back to 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the code in a white paper, a white list, or they call it the white paper, and made it open source. So nobody controls this. It's free to everybody. So in the code and the programming, it's programmed to only have 21 million in existence, and it's not released all at the same time. The way the coins are released is through a process called mining. It's like mining for gold, only it's digital mining. And when you mine, the mine is actually creating a blockchain, and that blockchain is just a ledger. It is a store of information. And when that block fills up with information, then that block is closed and a new block is formed. But when a block is created by the miners. And the miners are rewarded in Bitcoin whenever a block is created. Now, I want you to think of, for example, a company that's about to go public, like Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, Alibaba. They gave janitors and secretaries at the beginning of the company and the people who invested at the beginning, they gave them stock. The stock wasn't worth anything at that time. But as the company grew and went public, the janitors and secretaries became millionaires overnight. Same concept here. You're being rewarded in the coins. When it first started, the coin was only worth 0.0001 cent. How much money, knowing what you know now, if you went back to 2009, how much money would you have put down to buy a coin? Knowing it was only worth 0.0001 cent at that time. Thousands of dollars. You would have dropped 20 grand in 2009. Why? Because that 20 grand based on this model in 2009 would have probably given you like almost 100,000 coins. Let's say, I want to do the math on this because I'm curious. Let's say you'd 100,000 Bitcoins stored up since 2009 and you never touched it. Today's value at 4,000. That's worth $400 million today. And there's people out there that have more coins than that. You guys following me here? Now, the coins are, it's the mathematical process means that the final Bitcoin will be mined in the year 2140. It's halved every 4 years in the current mining process. So it'll continue mining for the next 100 and so years, 120 years. So talk about being very precious at that time for those miners, 50 years from now. Just a small percentage of a Bitcoin might be worth a couple $1 million. So let's move forward here. Knowledge is power. iCoinPro is our education platform that we recommend you join at the very beginning. Your first step into cryptocurrency land is getting educated. The most complete online training program in the industry. It's going to give you more than this now, but you've got core module training that you can't move on until you finish the previous. That's going to teach you about the history of cryptocurrency. You're going to learn about what Bitcoin mining is, what Bitcoin is, what altcoins is, what hashing is, what blockchain is. You're going to learn about the cryptocurrency trade market, what all the symbols mean. The word, the language. Knowledge is power. Because when you have this knowledge and you start seeing stuff on social media, you can tell what's real from BS. You're going to start to notice what the news is talking about whenever they mention this or bring it up. When Fortune magazine or Forbes writes about it, when the Washington Post makes a comment about it, when an article just came out 2 days ago about the Pentagon looking to integrate blockchain technology so that they can prevent hacking of the military system. The foundation, the entire foundation is being built around us, and the average American is still asking, what is cryptocurrency? You're also going to learn the micro profit system, which means you're going to learn how to trade cryptocurrency. So if you ever wanted to become a trader in the stock market, but it just seemed too complex for you, whenever I look at it, it's like looking at Greek. Plus, it's a wealthy man's game. You need to have at least $250,000 to get into the funds over there to fund your money. You need to have a whole lot of money if you want to start getting into the trading yourself and be able to risk losing $50,000 or $100,000 at any given time. The average person can't get involved in that. But cryptocurrency trading is brand new. Anybody can get involved in that right now. Last night I showed you guys an article of the first index fund that started in the cryptocurrency space. What that means is it costs $25,000 just to have that fund manage money for you that they're going to invest in the top 30 currencies, cryptocurrencies. This thing is about to explode. John says, correct me if I'm wrong, I read somewhere that Bitcoin can be divided into 100 million units. Yes, it can. It's called Satoshi. So you have to look at that unit that you just typed there. The entire world, every country has their own currency. And whenever you travel from country to country, you always got to, change the currency. When I went to the UK, I had to get euros at the time. The Nigeria's got the naira, you've got the yen, you've got the franc, the pound. Every country, the Canadian dollar, they've got their own currencies, and you always got to do currency conversion. That's not the case in Bitcoin. One Bitcoin in Japan is worth one Bitcoin in the United States, and all the way around the rest of the world. But what do you do when the value? Think of gold. Okay, that's the best way to do it. Gold speaks in units of ounces. I have 0.2 ounces of gold. Same with Bitcoin when it really matures. I've got 1 or 2 Satoshis of Bitcoin. That means 0.0001. So even though there's only 21 million Bitcoins in existence, everybody in the entire world will have Bitcoin in their hand. They just won't have a full Bitcoin. They'll have a percentage of it. That's how that works, how it's going to be divided. And every little decimal is worth something. Like $100 in Bitcoin right now, what is that? 0.00 something? I don't know. I still getting my head wrapped around how those conversions is going to work. But I guarantee you it's something we all know because we're going to be speaking in Bitcoin numbers and not dollars anymore. So does that make sense, John? Every decimal is going to be counted and worth something the same way gold is. So let's move forward. You're going to learn how to trade in the crypto trade market. We've got people in this system. I think his name was Corey, made $200 the other day in one day for trading from going through the system. In October, we're going to be launching a mobile app. And the mobile app is going to be your virtual assistant. It's going to show you, let you know when to make a trade, when to buy and when to sell. That's something I need because I don't have the patience to sit in front of the screen and look at the chart all day long. I want my phone to beep, letting me know, uh-oh, time to make a buy, time to sell. I love that part. This is also where wealth is going to be generated long after a Bitcoin is way out of the reach of everybody to purchase. You're going to get wealthy through trading of cryptocurrency. The next step, because we've got a 3-step process here. Step 1, education. Step 2, set up your Bitcoin wallet. And step 3, let's make money daily. Step 2 in the process is setting up your Bitcoin wallet. I went over this in detail last night. Get back with the person who invited you and they will give you a link to set up your Bitcoin wallet and get yourself started. Every single American will have a Bitcoin wallet. These wallets are going to replace the banks. If you've ever heard of PayPal or used PayPal, it's similar. In fact, one of the CEOs of PayPal, former founder said that Bitcoin and the Bitcoin wallets is completing the vision of what PayPal was trying to be. So it is important that you have a Bitcoin wallet, and let's get you in the game. Once you create your Bitcoin wallet, you want to fund it with about $110, $115. And when you do that, congratulations, you just purchased your first Bitcoin. We already have training that walks you through how to set that up. And it's important that you fund it. Why? Because now you're going to learn how to have your money make money for you. The wealthy people don't work for money. Their money works for them. You understand the difference? They don't trade time for money. They let their money give them more time freedom. So we're going to give you your first step in that direction if you've never experienced that before. The next step is there's a coin on the market called Bitconnect. Bitconnect coin is ranked number 11 on the coin market cap. I'm going to show that in a second. But Bitconnect, what's going to happen? You're going to take that $100 and you're going to purchase Bitconnect coins. And when you purchase the Bitconnect coins, you're now going to be just like a bank, and you're going to lend it out to the world. You're going to earn interest on your money every single day. Interest on your coins. And it's a loan, which means it's going to come right back to you with a set time period. So think about a bank. When you get your paycheck, let's say you got a $4,000 check, you deposit into the bank. Do you know what the bank immediately does? So you may go to your Bank of America bank account and say, oh, I got $4,000 sitting in the bank. Technically, it's no longer there. The bank turns around and loans it out so that they can make money on your money. And then at the end of the year, they may award you with 1 or 2%. I remember I asked this question when my parents set me up with a bank account when I was a kid. And I remember when they took me to the bank and the teller was like, and guess what? At the end of the year, we're going to reward you with I forgot what the amount was, 1 or 2% on your money. And I remember I was going home and asked my dad, I said, why are they giving me money for me just having money in the bank? And he tried to explain to me, well, they're using your money to lend out, and they are giving you a reward because they made money on your money. So I said, so if they're giving me 2%, how much money are they actually making? Good question. Nobody really knows, How much money are they making on your money? Well, now you are the bank. You're lending your coins out, and you're going to make interest on that daily. And the entire point of cryptocurrency land, for those of you who come from network marketing or the MLM side, that is not what crypto is. You do not have to recruit a single person to make money. That is the point I love about this. You don't have to recruit a single person. But why is everybody blowing me up right now? All right. Testing. If you guys can still hear me, type Y in the chat box. All right, great. So Bitconnect is what you're going to purchase the coins and lend it out. What is Bitconnect legitimate? Because I had someone say, what's so different about Bitconnect? There's all these, I go on Facebook and I'm seeing all these other coins all over the place. And new companies starting and launching their own coin. What's so different? Here's the difference. How many of those coins are on the coin market cap? Coin market cap is tracking the top coins. It's like Fortune 500 companies. It's like the NASDAQ, like the stock exchange. Is your business on the stock ticker yet? Same here. This is the entire market cap of all cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is number 1 at 70 billion. Ethereum is number 2 at 28 billion. Then Ripple. And I need to update this. I just screenshot this 3 days ago. Why? Look at Bitconnect. It's ranked number 13. That was 3 days ago. You know where it is today? It's ranked number 11. It's jumped up to the 11. And when you look at their history, back in April, it had about a $36 million market cap. In 4 months, it jumped up to 700. That's 794 million today. In 4 months, you think that might be something we need to put our money in? Absolutely. 6 months from now, it might jump all the way up to number 5, or be in the top 5. Can you imagine that? I can see it overtaking IOTA. And when that happens, every article around the world is going to be talking about this coin. They'll be telling you here, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, and then Connect. It's going to be it's going to be fantastic. This is why you guys, as the early birds, are going to ride this wave. Investing in Bitconnect lending. No, here's the process. This is why you already started. You got involved in your education. You set up your Bitcoin wallet and you funded it. After you fund it, you're going to deposit your Bitcoin. You're going to buy Bitconnect coin. You're going to lend your Bitconnect coin, and you're going to start to earn daily profit. And you can start for as low as $100. $100. And tomorrow you start making money. Every day you're going to make the average of 0.9%. Some days there won't be any earning because you don't win all the time. If you hear of a company that says, I guarantee you're going to make this amount every single day, and I guarantee we're going to double and triple your money, run. You can't do that. It's based on the stock, not the stock market, the crypto market. It's always changing. Some days you win, some days you lose. But on average, it's 0.09. I tell you, mine last 3 days, the average has been around 1.4. The average, but I want to be ultra conservative. So you're earning 0.9 cents every day. Actually, this is wrong. It's 0.9, not 0.09. I need to delete this screenshot and create a new one. That's why it looks all funny. 0.9. But this is huge. $100. Let's say all you did was put in $100 and you reinvested your interest every time it got to quantities of $10. You kept reinvesting it. You never pulled any money out for 2 years. August 2019, you will have enough money in your lending program that will be earning you over $200,000 a year in interest. That's the power of compound interest. And those of you that don't believe me, I'll show you the calculator if you want me to. I wasn't planning on doing it. I didn't until last night. But if you want me to do it again, type it in the chat box and I'll show that calculator again. But what's the cost of all this getting started? Well, first, when we talk about the education program, you have 3 options. Option number 1 is one-time $79 and $39.95 per month. That's it. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars to go back to school. Option number 2, you can pay 6 months up front for $229. There's no monthly auto ship there, no monthly payment. Or you can pay for a whole year up front for $449. There's advantages of doing so. You're paying a little less, and you're automatically starting at a higher rank that you can earn more money off the referrals. And then you fund your Bitcoin wallet with a little over $100. Purchase Bitconnect coins. You're making money in every 24 hours, every day. And it is compounding every day. Growing and growing and growing. I love the concept. And Bitconnect allows us to speedily move forward so that you can earn while you learn. And nobody said they wanted to see the calculator, so no problem. You can watch the recorded presentation from last night and see the calculator in action about the money that you put in. It is, I cannot sleep at night. I'm playing with the numbers. I did it again last night. I was playing with 50,000. I'm like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? This is crazy. 1 year from now, ladies, if you just start with $1,000 and you fast forward 365 days, you're going to be doing very well. For me and my partners, our goal is to get to $10,000 in there as fast as possible. We have some people this week starting off with $10,000. Starting off that way. We have a gentleman on our team who's already did 5,000. Already. He did 2,000 a couple of days ago. He did $3,000 today. He's already looking at doing, I think, another 7,000 more next week. You fast forward, speed up the process. This is amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I'm going to end by playing the Bitconnect video for you so you understand just what that is, how we do what we do. Tomorrow, we are going to have our team call 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and I'll put that number right here, 712-432-0075, pin, oh, what's wrong with this thing? Pin 865707 pound. That's tomorrow night. Team call. This is so simple. The one thing I didn't also share as well, not only can you earn on your daily interest, anybody that you share this with as well that's asking the question, I keep hearing about cryptocurrency. How do I get involved? I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. And you put them through our system. And you share with them to get started in iCoinPro. Based on your rank, you're going to earn $15 to $25 on that referral. You get them set up on their own Bitcoin account. And they fund it. You make another $10. And you help them set up for the very first time their Bitconnect, and they fund it. You're making 7% on whatever money they're starting with and lending. That adds up very quickly. But this is for everybody. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter how much you understand of this. Just follow the process. And within 24 hours, you can start earning daily while you're learning about cryptocurrency. So here's the video. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I will get this recording out as soon as I can within the next 30 minutes so that you can pass on to people that you know. Team call tomorrow night. My name is Brandon Ivey, Bitcoin Brandon. See you all tomorrow. God bless. Good night. Bye-bye.